This app can turn your playlists and tracks into mashup mixes. So instead of being boring and letting your songs play like this,
it's giving Vogue.
Got ready for the night in.
bruh, they can instead play like this.
It's giving
That's what you're going for. Don't wanna let you in. Talk about you, that's what's happening. It's getting late now, honey. Enough of the arguments. She sips the Coca-Cola. She can't tell the difference yet.
And that's not just for 2 songs. You can literally turn a 1000 song playlist into a DJ mix or even an insane mashup mega mix if you prefer. So this app is DJ.Studio and it just got its biggest update yet, Stems. This update now gives you the freedom to manipulate a track's a cappella, instrumental, bass, and harmony, allowing you to freely express yourself and your musical creativity. So not only can you make mixes from all the music from all these platforms, but you can also manipulate your local file tracks to your heart's content. And in this video, I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know to start making insane mixes and mashups now, and we'll start this all off by breaking down this mashup. First things first, download DJ.Studio and take advantage of that free trial. If you want to follow along as well, also download the tracks I use in this video. The links are below and they're all free. Next, load up a new project timeline and load your tracks. Now you'll see DJ.Studio has done its magic and already beat sync your tracks and determine the best place to transition if you're doing a basic blend. However, since we're going to make a mashup, we'll switch things up. So we're going to start by bringing the transition point way forward into the mix right after the vocals of Lose Control are supposed to start. Now, if this is your first time using DJ.Studio, one of its most important features is this blue box, which is the transition block. And this is where the mixing and transitions happen. This point is where the transition starts. This point is where the transition ends. For this video, we'll be utilizing this transition block to make our mashup. First, scroll all the way to the chorus of Where Have You Been, where Rihanna starts singing. To make things easier, you can press the solo headphone button to solo your track, and you can zoom in either by scrolling on your mouse or using the plus and minus buttons on the interface. Now that you've found your chorus, drag it all the way to the beginning of the transition block to anchor it. Also disable these equalizer transition presets as we're making a mashup. Once done, we can drag our transition block towards the beginning of Lose Control. Now how do we know where we're supposed to bring this to? The answer lies in knowing your song inside and out. And toggling the solo headphone button here, we can hear how Lose Control starts after its intro. You can hear a 16-beat instrumental right before the vocals actually start. From this, we can determine Rihanna's vocals should start at the same time as the vocals on Lose Control. Since we're making a mashup, we don't want both songs playing with each other in full, so let's adjust our transition length. You can also use these buttons here to adjust the transition length. With our transition block fixed and length set, let's listen to this blend. Now with 2 vocals blending, the result is clearly bad. However, thanks to this latest update, DJ.Studio can now completely mix the stems of your tracks. Heading over to the transition tab down below, you'll see a few new categories. One of them is this tab labeled stems. Clicking on this will instantly have DJ.Studio split your music into 4 different stem categories: drums, bass, melody, and vocals. Each of these stem tracks are color coordinated, so you don't get lost in the music when tinkering around with them. Now just like every other transition, DJ.Studio has different presets for stem transitions, namely swap, crossfade, and full. The first two will either swap out your tracks or cross them over the course of the transition, or play them out completely. If you've noticed on the tracks themselves, you'll also see little icons corresponding to each stem. Toggling these will mute each stem track, so you'll have better control of all the different stems. Using this will mute the vocal tracks of Lose Control and do the same for all the drums, bass, and melody tracks of Where Have You Been. Now, let's have a listen. But wait, it changes pretty abruptly at the end. Now this is where we put our DJ.Studio editing knowledge to use. So let's cut the music on Lose Control right here, where Rihanna starts singing Somewhere in the Crowd, and unmute the tracks on Calvin Harris's song. Now let's cut the instrumental stem tracks right here at this point and fade in the drums. This way, the musical switch isn't too abrupt. There we go. We've officially created a quick mashup all here on DJ.Studio. But you may have noticed there's still a bit of an empty port right here as the drop hits. This is where another useful tool in DJ.Studio comes into play. This can be applied to all tracks, but in this case, let's unmute Lose Control's vocal track, right-click on it, and hit Copy Vocals to Sample Lane. This will duplicate the song's vocal track to a third lane on the timeline, which you can manipulate to your heart's desire. In this case, we now have the chorus all isolated and ready to be utilized. Dragging it here, right where the drop begins, allows us to switch in the vocal track while Rihanna is silent, and have Lose Control's vocals come in. After, we can have Rihanna step back in to complete this mashup. Now, if you want to spruce things up even more, head on down to this tab right here, the Effects tab. Opening this up, you'll see a whole slew of effects you can add to your track to further elevate your music. From the EQ bands to pitching things up and down, DJ.Studio's got it all. However, for this mashup, we'll be utilizing the reverb effect and adding it onto a sample vocal from Lose Control just to give it that spacey big room feel. Once you've finished fixing your tracks and blends, simply press export and choose local file to get either an MP3 or WAV version of your mix. However, if you want to be more creative, DJ.Studio now allows you to replace different segments of songs with other samples. So let's break this example down. To do this, simply right-click on the track you want to split into its instrumental and acapella to open up the drop-down menu. At the very bottom, you'll see the option to split acapella and instrumental. Clicking on this will have DJ.Studio create two separate tracks, one with the song's vocals and one with the song's full instrumental. As you can see, we can take the acapella, drag it to our previously created mashup, and do this. Now, if you want to let DJ.Studio work its magic, you can even utilize DJ.Studio's built-in swaps to initiate a bass swap, drum swap, and more to take your mashups even further than before. This is just one aspect of DJ Studio, and there's still so much this software can do. Check this video over here to learn more.